Are there any stories from your work so far that stand out to you?
I think some of the stories, two in particular that I can think of. One of, I kind of alluded to earlier, a white woman who is, raised in the South in her mid-30s, who really didn't think that she had an issue with race, or didn't think her family had any issue with race, until she gets pregnant and has a child with an African-American man. And her family basically, completely shunned her for that. And then she later talks about having another child with another gentleman who happens to be white, and talks about the favoritism that her family extended to the child who was not racially mixed compared to the one who was. And so those kinds of stories are, just very moving and very riveting, in thinking about how, people who don't really think race is a problem until, you hear this sort of cliche-ish thing, well, what about the children? And folks have biracial children, and they get treated very differently because of that. Another story I think of is a young, early 20s, young woman in her early 20s who is Filipino, half Filipino and white, who is essentially a military brat, and she has a very sort of open, progressive view of race because she's been around all different kinds of people all the time. She's used to having to move and be in different places, all her entire life. So for her, race really is, it's a fluid thing. She understands that, she recognizes that, and she has a really hard time with the way in which our society tries to put people in particular boxes and categories. So again, a wide variety of stories just in the 25 volunteers that we've had thus far that really do help us understand that broader narrative of why not everyone's on the same page about race, because we all really are different. But I think that hearing these kinds of stories will help us to probably get closer to maybe trying to understand one another.
Yeah, that story about the woman with the biracial baby clicks with me because with my experience handling the press and the social media for the Zimmerman trial, a lot of people shared how they felt about race with us very candidly, because that was a big theme surrounding the case. And one thing that I learned as a white man is that a white man who doesn't have an issue with race doesn't encounter race problems. Right. And I think this woman, a white woman who didn't have a problem with race, never encountered a race problem until she had a baby who was mixed race, and then did. And right. And that little difference in perception makes a huge difference in how you feel about race, obviously. And that's one of the things I hope people who follow the project be able to learn.